Hi, I'm linehaul Lonnie. I'm going to tell and talk about the history of the trucking industry, tell some stories, make some reference to some good old trucking songs over the time, and tell a few jokes, and then give some driving tips along the way. Anyhow, now picking up a few gears, let me tell you about myself. I've been in the trucking industry and around for over 50 years. I have hauled freight. I have moved heavy hauled, moving oil field drilling rigs from site to site and equipment. And I started city P&D'ing and loading trucks off the dock when I was in high school. And it's been a great living. So it's been learned a lot and just lots of fun. Anyhow, here we go. I'm going to tell you how it all got started. My dad started working for a trucking company in the early 70s in Calgary, and I used to go to work with him, and I was hanging out helping the dock worker, old Joe Samard, load meat hooks into a railer trailer that was going to go down to the packing houses in Lethbridge and load some meat. So we put the meat hooks in the trailer and got them all in there and hung up right. And then he said, okay, we got to go put the trailer in the back of the yard. So we climbed down off the dock and we're going to go get in the truck. And I start walking around to the passenger side. And he says, do you know how to drive? I said, no. He's okay, get in. Time you learn. It was probably about a 1954 Ford gas pot tractor, tandem axle. And I says, in the driver's seat? He says, yes, get in there. So I jump up there and sit in the seat. I'm about 12 years old. And he closes the door and stands on the running board. He looks down and says, okay, that's the clutch, that's the brake, that's the throttle. Them two buttons release the trailer brakes and the tractor brakes. And he says, okay, now push the clutch in, start the truck. So I did. And he says, okay, now grab the gear shift lever, push them, pull it over by your knee and pull it down to the back of the seat. So I did. He's okay, now push out the brake pedals. He's okay. And I says, well, aren't you going to get in? He said, no, you think I'm crazy? I'm just going to stay out here. So away we went. He's now rev up the push clutch out, rev up the throttle, and let her out. So I let her out, and away we went. We were trucking. And so we go around, and he instructs me how to turn the corner and go around to the back of the terminal yard, and that's where we dropped the trailer. And he proceeded me how to stop and everything, and then we jumped out, disconnected the tractor from the trailer, and we went around and hooked up to another trailer. And he says, okay, let's do the same thing as what we did before. And we moved a few trailers for that day. Excuse me. And we moved a few trailers that day, and it was a ball. It was just so much fun, so much fun. So there you have it. I was bitten by the bug. And that's where I caught the trucking fever. And it was basically haven't looked back. So, moving on, I'm going to tell you another little bit about myself. Moving on, I currently have been with my former employee, Canadian Freightways. I've been with them for 33 and a half years. I have achieved 3.4 million miles accident-free with this company over 33 and a half years. And I've been on the line haul, and I've ran throughout Western Canada for all them years. And it's been great. So now, anyhow, enough around about myself. Here comes the tip of the day. Whenever you drivers hook up to a trailer, every time you pin up to a new trailer, you should always get out and go look underneath at the jaws of the fifth wheel, make sure they are locked. Daytime, nighttime, use a flashlight, whatever. Make sure all the handles are all locked back in place, and the fifth wheel, in fact, is locked. And then when you pull out by 5 or 10 feet before you drive, just give it the big tug pull down on the spike, and hopefully then that'll save you the embarrassment of ever dropping a trailer in front of somebody, because you don't want that. That's not fun. So anyhow, as I promised, the joke of the day is a little Johnny joke. Little Johnny was walking around the house and he had a bag of jelly beans and that, and he's being a little bugger. And finally his mother says, "Johnny, get outside, go do something. I got work to do in the house." So about a half hour later, she's standing at the sink doing the dishes, looking out the window. And here's Johnny, he's sitting on the step, and he would reach into his bag of jelly beans, throw one in his mouth, and then he had his cat with him. He'd pick up the cat, kiss it, put it back down, and then he'd jump down a step. And she went, okay, so she watched him do it again. He reached into the bag of jelly beans, threw a jelly bean in his mouth, picked up his cat, kissed it, put it back down, and he jumped down on the ground. And he'd crawl up the stairs. He's going to do it again. And his mother finally says, "I got to ask him." So she goes outside. She says, "Johnny, what are you doing?" "Oh, Mommy," says, "I'm playing truck driver." She says, "Well, how do you get that?" He says, "I'm popping pills, kissing pussy, and moving on." Okay, well, y'all, hope you enjoyed that. Have yourself a nice day. I'm going to go 10-7, and bye-bye for now. We gone bye-bye.